हम सब गलत कर रहे हैं भाई। सक्सेस के बाद का प्लान सबके पास है, लेकिन अगर गलती से फेल हो गए तो फेलियर से कैसे डील करना है, कोई बात ही नहीं करना चाहता। बेटा, तुम्हारा रिजल्ट डिसाइड नहीं करता है कि तुम लूजर हो कि नहीं, तुम्हारी कोशिश डिसाइड करती है। पर कोशिश तो आपने बहुत करी ना बेटा।
If you've been following my channel for a while and know who I am, you know that I'm not one to hop onto the fame bandwagon and try to make trendy videos or anything, or talk about just some celebrity. But Sushant Singh Rajput was not just some celebrity. First and foremost, he was an amazing human being. He cared about people, and he was a philanthropist. He was a great actor. He was an intellectual, and more importantly than anything else, I can empathize with his family, his friends, and his fans for the loss they've endured at this moment. And more than anything, I really did look up to him and respected him as a human being. That's the reason I'm making this video. Sushant was the kind of person that was interested in quantum physics, space, cosmos, and deep scientific things like that. Not only that, I'm gonna show you what his home looked like, because when you take a look at the person's home, it gives you a very good idea of the kind of person he was. Not only was he a great actor and a good human being, but he had a very good taste in culture and literature and music and art and everything that you could possibly think of. He was a very well thought and deep human being. There was more to him than just what he showed on the screen, and that's what I'm going to show you right here. Take a look at his home. Isn't it beautiful? He's not trying to show off his money and spend on lavish, luxurious things that don't matter, but every single thing in his home has a meaning, and it's for a reason. Sushant loved gazing at the night sky with his telescope, and he spent hours looking at the stars and the moon, so much so that he even bought a piece of land on moon. Here's the official document showing that he bought a piece of land on moon. Take a look. And now Sushant is going to talk about his telescope.
And by the way, this is my time machine. This is the telescope called Mayadi 600. And you can see Saturn rings, Jupiter moons, and actually different galaxies, Andromeda also, when the sky is clear.
You know, after learning so much about Sushant, it makes me wonder, maybe Bollywood didn't deserve him. Maybe his IQ was too much for Bollywood, where Bollywood is filled of people who are 10th dropouts and people who don't even know the name of our Prime Minister, people who don't appreciate the art enough. He held 7th rank in AEEE exams, and he was really good at his academics, very intelligent, had a great mind, and he had a bright career in education, in academics, if he chose that. But instead, he decided to do what he believed in, and that is to pursue his career in acting. And he did that. He started from the bottom and made it all the way to the top by his merit, his hard work, and his talent. And that's something I can always respect, and that's something I look up to. He was one of those few Bollywood actors that I enjoyed watching, because the movies that he chose were so good. The roles he chose, he believed in them, and he gave us some amazing performances such as MS Dhoni, The Untold Story, Chichore, Kedarnath, and so many such amazing movies. But unfortunately, he decided to end his life, and I don't understand why. There's a lot going in this. People say there's talks about nepotism, and he had rivalries in Bollywood. The big stars tried to shut him down. But I'm not going to stir the pot and talk about controversy. I don't want to talk about that. Instead, I want to remember him for what a person he was and celebrate his life for the kind of human being he was. And let's just talk about that rather than focusing on all the negativity that's out there. My heart goes out to his family and friends. I can't even imagine the kind of pain they must be in right now. But you know what? He would have wanted us to remember for what kind of person he was, and not what pain he felt in the last moments of his life. I can't even fathom the fact that he decided the pain of killing himself and the consequences of the kind of pain it would inflict on his family and friends. He thought that was better than living life itself. And that's something I can't even begin to process. So let's talk about the positives now. Talk about the kind of person he was and what we should be focusing on, really. Sushant was in really amazing shape. He wasn't just like any other Bollywood actor who got in shape for a movie role, and after all of that was done, they got out of shape again and they went back and forth. Fitness was a way of life for him. He really believed in it, and that's something I respect. When I look at his fitness videos, his workouts, it's so motivating, and I'll always draw my inspiration from that, and you should too. There was just something about Sushant's personality. The way he carried himself, how charismatic he was, he had an infectious smile, and when he walked into the room, it brought a certain energy and aura that really lit up the room. That's because he was a genuine and real person. He never had to put on a mask or fake the kind of person he was. He was just genuine all the way through, and he was confident in the kind of person he was. And I really do wish everybody on the planet became like him. And if that happened, the world would be so much of a better place. I don't think words alone can express the kind of person that Sushant Singh Rajput was. But I want to show you something. I saw this list that he posted on Twitter last year, where he talked about 50 dream things that he wanted to do before he died. And that just blew my mind. How somebody could be so rich, so successful, so talented, and still be so grounded, so down to earth, so simple. And his perspective, his attitude towards life and people, that's just something we all should learn from. So here's the list I'm talking about. When I take a look at that list, I feel how somebody that was so ambitious had such a positive outlook on life. And he even talked about issues such as depression and mental health in his recent movie Chichore, which was absolutely amazing. And the irony is he ended up taking his own life. So what went wrong? What really happened that made him take this decision? The story is out there. Everybody knows that he was dealing with depression in his life due to some personal issues, and also he had heat with some big Bollywood names who boycotted him, and he lost a lot of movie roles in a very short amount of time. That affects you. It doesn't matter who you are. And to top that up, it was quarantine time. He was all alone. He couldn't open up to anybody, and he decided to end his life. Suicide is never the answer. It never was, it never is, and it never will be. No matter how bad things are, when you hit the lowest low, you cannot go any below that. What comes after that, it's better than what you've faced. And you have your family, you have your friends, you have your closed ones whom you can open up to, and they'd be more than happy to help you out. Suicide is never the answer. The decision to end his life was Sushant's, and that's something we'll all have to accept and move on. But you know what's not fair? It's unacceptable the way these Bollywood celebs treated him. They mistreated him, they talked down to him on talk shows, they took movie roles away from him, they didn't let him shine up in the industry, and they cornered him. There's nothing the poor guy could do. He was dealing with a lot in his personal life, and he just ended his life. That's not fair, that's unacceptable, and nobody else should have to go through this. So I say it's time for a revolution, it's time for a change. I'm not going to take any names, but we all know what's been happening. Bollywood's always been about nepotism and making big money. That's all it's always been about. They ganged up on him, and there's nothing he could do. So I say it's time for a revolution. We gotta start the change. Start supporting movies from small artists, people that actually focus on good quality content, good storylines, good character work. That's what matters. I can understand that because I stand in front of this camera and speak. I edit my own videos. I think about what content to produce out there, so I can really empathize with that. So please, it's my only request to you. Start supporting smaller actors. Start supporting smaller productions rather than these big Bollywood names because they come from a popular family. Or come on, it's not just about fame and money and nepotism. We are more than that. And the revolution needs to happen now. They wanted to boycott him. I say we boycott them. Kangana recently went viral when she talked about how Bollywood pays journalists to write blind items on upcoming stars. Blind items are fake, cheap way of writing articles where they indirectly degrade or defame an actor without directly mentioning their name. It's a real low blow, and this needs to stop. So come on, that's the least we could do for him. What happened to him was unfair, and we should make sure that something like this doesn't happen ever to anybody again. So if you're in a tough situation in life and you lost all hope, it feels like life's not worth it, and no matter how bad things are, you gotta have hope. Don't lose hope. Just keep going on. Open up to your loved ones. It's okay. No, you don't become a coward by opening up to your loved ones or talking about mental health and depression. It is a real thing. Depression is a real thing. Loneliness is a real thing. Mental health needs to be addressed. In this channel, I talk about fitness, I talk about health, and guess what? Physical health is not all that matters. Mental health is even more important. So please don't ignore your mental health. Open up to your loved ones and just be safe. That's all I'd like to say. And to close out this video, let's pay our final respects to Sushant Singh Rajput. What happened to him was unfortunate. Today, not just Bollywood, but the planet, we lost an amazing human being. And all we could do is honor his memory and respect the kind of person he was. Learn from the kind of person he was, the things he wanted from life, and his perspective in life, his attitude towards other people. That's what matters in life. There's a reason why everybody is devastated with his death, more so than any other death that we've had in recent times. That's because of the kind of person he was. So finally, it's time to end the video. Rest in peace, Sushant Singh Rajput. You'll always be alive in our memories.